Hi, and welcome to your timeless pool of thought reading, where I take a question and I dive deeper into the question with intuitive insights and see if we can come up with some sort of guidance and whatever it is that brings us here to the reading. Please remember that feminine and masculine energies do show up within a reading, and if and when they do, to remember that you can be either female and or male-bodied and still resonate with any of the messages that come forth. And to remember that past, present, and or future energies could vibrate of resonancy, but to use your discernment and judgment to take all of which is yours and to leave the rest behind. The question that I'm posing today is, what is the difference between third dimension, fifth dimension, and seventh dimension? We're keeping it hopefully very strict to only third dimension, fifth dimension, and seventh dimension. A lot of people don't understand that all dimensions happen simultaneously. And to try to depict what a dimension is very complex, hence why wherever you go, you may really either resonate with something or really just not. Or just be completely confused because there's just so much information out there. My least favorite of the three mentioned is third dimension. Everyone fucking suffering in that one. Oh, shit. The physical pain is just absolutely astronomical. It's just unbelievable, and you guys are all driving yourselves nuts in the third dimension. Your ego is absolutely drowning in a world of, I don't know what. The fifth dimension helps bridge the understanding of what it means to be human, and the seventh dimension is an elation of such. But let's go down into a little bit of an explanation around here. So the third dimension, to be a little bit more simple-minded, is the human vessel. The fifth dimension is human thought, and the seventh dimension is human light. Human vessel is the material consequence of what it means for you to be alive. It is an energy of sensation that when you are living, you cannot miss it because you're too busy being alive. And while you are alive, you are also dying because there is no such thing as time and space. So in it is a vortex and several portals, shit ton of realms. But one dimension, to understand the human vessel for what it can bring and for what it can offer, and as a human being tries to accept and reject that of which he or she chooses to partake in life, and chooses to rise to the occasion of knowing the consequences of good and bad karma, of thus having reached choices, is to know that you are a master of knowing that you are a third dimensional being on a timeless space of earth vibration. Moving along, five. All right, five. Five is the number of changes. Five is a challenging energy for a lot of people. most controversial number of all numbers, because it doesn't have room to justify itself because it's too busy changing. Hence why we're at human thought. Human thought in the fifth dimension of what it is the entire makeup of what it requires to have a thought, to process it, to engage it, to inquire and analyze, to subjectify, objectify, to label, to dissect. Fifth dimensional being of vibrational resonancy, of external and internal simultaneous energy. Moving along, we have the seventh dimension, supreme purity, that of which earth vibration for the first time to the witness of human consciousness, awareness, and also geographical compromising energies that were once complex have now been aligned, as prophesied by the Mayans to have begun on December 21. Of 2020. The problem of the Great Conjunction is that those who believe the most in astrology are those who are there the most and call themselves astrologers, or whatever, or pardon, or however you take the message. Sometimes like I have to deliver the message nicer. Whatever label that you have learned to address to and for yourself is what you're able to help identify yourself in seeing if those vibrations of labels assist you in fulfilling the very makeup of the definition that you may feel the label means to you. To understand seventh dimension is to know that any impurities lie once reached consciousness awareness of seventh dimension, is to know that you are no longer dying. And to no longer die is to know that you embody all vibrations. And to understand that there are no diseases in the seventh dimension that does not make you pure. It makes you sovereign in knowing that any toxicities that lie within the vessel of that of which you bestow is your responsibility to transcribe and transfer into the hands that rule you, and that what rules you are the very two hands, if you have them, bestow. all are equal. It is not about who doesn't have a sense or a part of physical, how can I say it? If any physical mechanics of your vessel is missing, please know that that does not make the individual lesser, because in all of vibration is light. And not everything, again, in light is light. And how we get into artificial light is just that. When you have a light on through which you see this reading emanating through whatever it is that has you watch a screen to listen out to these messages, you are also absorbing artificial light as we speak. Not right now is the first time, but you've been around it for so many eons of time, and think and believe that that energy is of pureness, because it offers you something in the 3D. For example, you're in the 3D vessel, you're sitting at a desk, you have a pad of paper and a pen, and you begin to write. Is there a light on? Because if there is, the light is artificial. Is it pure in the making because it's offering us the luminescence that we need to be able to craft? Absolutely. But to think for one moment that all of that of which it is that you've created or that we depend on is pure just because we feel grateful of it would be a sin in 7th dimensional healing. The Emperor. Move it a little bit so you can see here. I'll show you what it is. The 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Discs. Six of Wands. 4 of Pentacles. Seven of Wands, King of Swords, Queen of Cups. All three, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th dimension, offer up the most right now for you to feel in the energy vibration of that around you. It's the easiest energy to tap into and decipher whether or not, when traveling in the meditative zones of the 3rd dimension, 5th dimension, and the 7th dimension, if you believe that you are traveling in the 7th dimension, that is, is to ask the guides whether or not they're giving you their light of reason from either source of the light realms. Ask your guides whether or not they're speaking to you from the third dimension, speaking to you of the seventh dimension and also of the fifth dimension. Most will tell you they're operating from the seventh dimension, but whether or not you feel the messages from the seventh dimension will be part of the investigation moving forward in understanding the development of your third dimensional consciousness. Because the fifth dimension is in charge of making you have a better relationship with your ego, and to differentiate the time that your ego is prideful or to determine if it's full of pride. And to understand that if it's prideful, it meets the degree of knowing that you're tapping into negative energy that's externalizing itself into more toxic energy. Whereas if you were prideful in taking the measurement of being full of pride, is to know that you are in a state of being of absolute empowerment of self. And that way also protecting your integrity of all of which that it is that you're vibrating on and believing in, to gain a better understanding to who it is that you are spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. Whether or not you can adapt with the changes within your own body, and listen out to the truths while surrendering to the ether of that which it is you know, and question the ether if the ether has more secrets to bestow upon you. Because if you feel the secrets, means that there is more of a scavenger hunt of discovery left for you to enjoy, left for you to be excited for, and to learn that those are like a full resonancy, where you take a leap of faith into a situation, knowing that the experience shapes the person who it is that you are. To always remember that you are having a human experience, which is an action-orientated appeal to showing up of the breath, as mentioned earlier, and to not take that breath for light, because breath is purer than water. All dimensions offer a form of healing. There is no degree of separation. Because to understand that there is no degree of separation is to honor all of that which it is that we are cumulatively, thank you, partaking in. And to rise you to the occasion that in order to create that of which it is we believe in, and to also have an emotional experience and to thus feeling as a human being, as the human vessel that we are, is to not blame everything on the fifth dimension and beyond of that of which we cannot decipher, just to be able to sidestep and not rise to self-acceptance and not rise to accountability and responsibility. King of Cups, the Magician, the World, Two of Swords, Knight of Wands, Ten of Swords, Knight of Swords. All dimensions are meant to trigger you, whether you like it or not. Part of the luminescence that is desired by the light is to not be mad where the light goes, to be able to glow. Neither can you ask the light to thank you for giving it the electricity to be able to glow. Hence why the universe does not like the words thank you. You are doing the work. And every time something comes in where you decide that when doing the work offers you pain, deceit, betrayal, you blame everything else besides you. So those that travel light and listen to their guides and make the choices and not try to understand the world from the worldly perspective it doesn't offer itself of, but more on a linear perspective on earth vibration, is to know that to rise the occasion of the emotions that are not always easy to share because we're too busy working in life to be able to share them, we always have an immediate understanding to what it means to manifest something beyond the breath by accepting that we can breathe. We've used words and decided to say that the power of words, which always have power, and decide that all of a sudden, when it benefits us the most, that they are spells. So the earth vibration has listened for the eons of time and had to challenge the inquisition of fifth dimensional thought, whether or not you agree to that of which it is that you're choosing on, and to pick that the world is actually is or isn't, to justify the behaviors of who and what it is that you are as a third dimensional being. Does it have any impact to the fifth dimensional thought of the processing of the actions of which you do or which you don't do? Whether you're a victim, a survivor, the short end of the stick, the high end of the stick, lesser, lower. Why is that hierarchy? Why are we left in multidimensional thought of fifth dimensional human thought to think there are binary degrees of understanding? And that a linear formula is addressing the whole entire depiction of something. It's just not true. However, it assisted the world of consciousness, of the world population, to be able to again use labels to get a better understanding of how the world may work. And as light, you understand there is no such thing as a world. It is earth vibration. And all of earth vibration is of galactic light. And to travel that galactic light is to honor all of that imagination that comes through from it. And we call it source. Majority of that of which it is that you claim has been created by the outcome of anyone who claims to have a connection of source. So it came from the creation of the art of the sovereign individual, Page of Wands, Three of Cups, Four of Wands, Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, Seven of Cups, Page of Cups. All dimensions offer a very deep, challenging frame of thought, where the dance with the idea of knowing that seventh dimensional is even possible, is to start to the conversation whether you can believe that human is light, and honor that not all human is light, the same as not all human are dark. But the human that is light and has darkness could be in the seventh dimensional, because that individual understands their human light. So there will be a ton of individuals who will address to you that they are very well aware of seventh dimensional existence. However, universe has a challenging aspect of all of those that claim to be of seventh dimensional processing, because they are engaged in not what is to perceived of toxicity. They don't engage it. They are too busy giving more light. But the problem with the individual that is giving the light is that the individual is not processing to understand their own artificial light that coincides with shadow work. Shadow work is all of darkness, to figure out if there is light within the darkness that can help you conquer the shadow, to no longer feel afraid that the shadow is around in your existence. And then being able to build a relationship with your shadows and also label them, and to build integrity inside fifth dimensional human thought. Seventh dimensional light will trigger fifth dimensional human thought and make you question whether you are of pure crystal consciousness. 𝗭𝗲𝗹𝗵𝗺. Do you understand the darkness within the vibrations of all seven? To honor the base of purity and to understand artificial light has reached there too. Artificial light is knowing also that some people talk of all love and all of divinity is true soulmate, true divine connection, twin flame. Maybe not twin flame, maybe yes twin flame, maybe God, maybe no God, maybe archangels, maybe no angels, maybe guides. But what we all love are ancestors, because we're going to accept that there has been a great grandfather and has been a great grandmother. We'll always accept ancestors, eh? So go follow and walk with the ancestors, because most of you have forgotten to do so because you're too busy, having been coaxed that the world of artificial light is the light to base all of your light of knowing on. The ether is saying, go fetch with what you believe on, and see if it resonates out there with wherever it is that you take your toy and go align it with. See if it aligns. There will be missed opportunities, there will be shortcomings, but they're all experiences. Ultimately, you understand that. Especially when you can see the merry makeup of the cards, the tangible things in front of you, you can understand that if I were to touch your skin in a non-sexual way, that it would be a contact of physical presence, that you are being triggered in that moment, that you are third dimension. Man doesn't just create 3D things. A human, a man, no gender, is able to maintain a sense of survival. But if you're too busy trying to find justice and how the labels are supposed to provide you justice, you will always forever forget what it means to provide true justice for yourself. And you won't like it, because that is the fifth dimensional human thought processing, that of which it wants to be gods and goddesses, and share that of which the gods and goddesses claim they are partaking in. But there are so many gods and goddesses and so many people that you claim maybe also to be of God and goddesses, and don't really know, besides how you feel with the resonancy of such God and goddess, if they are even of God and goddess nature. That is all that I have for the messages at this time. Please take all of that of which resonated with you to understand third dimension, fifth dimension, and seventh. I will ask that you consider subscribing to my channels if you haven't done so already. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. Take care.